TravelingMel.com.
Hey, we are trekking on the Alta Via 2 in the Dolomites in Italy and are super excited to have you along. This will probably be a kind of a shorter video, but just some of the highlights of what you can expect if you were to hike the AV2. We are only doing the first half of it, and right now we're on day 3, and I gotta tell you, if you like mountains and you like walking uphill and staying in huts, it's super luxe. All you have to do is walk, sleep, and eat all day. Well, mostly walk all day, but eating, lots of eating. You can stop at huts along the way for lunch most of the time, and we're staying in huts, so we have breakfast and dinner in our huts too. But I'm gonna start panting because we're going uphill, so take a look at what we've seen. So we have avoided most of the Via Ferrata on this route by taking a longer route, but there are places with chains or cables, I guess, and steps that aid you. Mostly I think in case it's wet or snowy, but it's nice to have them when the cliff is dropping off like that. Hut for the night. We've walked, I don't know, the signs are all in time instead of mileage or kilometers or whatever, but I think today was 7.75 miles, which isn't very far, but man, it is up and down in these mountains, which is awesome. That's why they're mountains. Oh, that wasn't the hut. That's the hut. I'll zoom in a little bit. Look at that, all those people sitting outside enjoying the sun. Anders is up there. Henry and Finn are behind me. And excited to go check in. Things about hiking in the Dolomites is that you can practically never get lost. That's not entirely true, but there are signs everywhere. It's super well signed, and where every junction has a sign like this one, there are paintings on the rocks that show you what trail and what number. So we look for certain trail numbers and also look for the AV2 symbol, which is a 2 in a triangle. We also downloaded a map that the booking company recommended called Komoot, and you can buy it for a global map or just sections that you're going to be in. And we chose the global one. I will have all the details to finding that in the blog. And then we also bought a guidebook, which I'll also talk about in the blog, because that's been helpful. So at night we read about the stretch we're going to do, and then we just follow the signs as we go and double check on the digital online. It's not online, you download it, the digital app map as well. And we are not alone. There's so many people up here. We must have passed 100 people in the last 15 minutes. Apparently there's a gondola near here, so people can get up. Oh my God, it's so busy. Number 666. Maybe because of that. On top of what we just did, just come from the bottom of that valley, which you can't even see because it's so far down. As I mentioned, we are staying at a bunch of hoots or refugios on this trip, and you can, of course, just book them yourself. You do kind of need to make reservations. If you're just one person, you might be able to show up and get a bed, especially in September. If you were coming earlier in the summer, from what I understand, that would be really rough. But we are 4 persons, and we wanted 6 refugios in a row, a certain amount of distance apart from each other. So we used a booking service, and I'll have all the details on that in the blog post, but it worked out really well because it was only a couple $100 more, I think, than if we'd booked it ourselves. And they made sure that we had all of the refugios in order, that we needed. And we got half board at most of them, which is breakfast and dinner. And then the first 2 we had to buy our own dinner, but we could get it. And you can also get a takeaway lunch, which we did one day, and it was literally a piece of bread with cheese in it, but it was really good at the top of a pass. So the other 2 days we have just stopped at other refugios or restaurants and just bought lunch there. And then we carry some snacks in our backpack, cornies, which are these kind of super sugary granola bar kind of things, and then just straight up candy bars. So that's kind of how we eat, and that's how we stay. And we had a private room in the first refugio, the Plusa Hoot, and it had, I think it slept 7, but there were just the 4 of us. The rest of it, we've been in dormitories, and we've had 1 other person the second night, and then 2 other people last night, and I don't know what's going to happen here. Each hut is set up a little bit differently, so some of them, so far they've all had showers. 2 of them you had to pay. One was like €3 for 5 minutes, and then the next one was €4 for 3.5 minutes. And you can kind of wash out some clothes and hang them on a line outside so you don't have to carry as much. We're basically, I'll put a packing list in there. I don't need to go over that now, but anyway, we just did this crazy long steep hike up, and then the last part was this Via Ferrata that was kind of gnarly, super fun, but just so many people were coming down that you had to keep getting out of the way. And now we're going to our a Refugio right here. And as you can see, it's a pretty dramatic landscape up here. And a lot of people day hike this. So that's why one of the reasons there's so many people here. And then I think this is a big one though. This sleeps like 100 and something people. So we'll see what we get here. This big mountain behind me is the Marmolada. It is the highest peak in the Dolomites and very distinctive, has the only glacier. But we are not seeing it today because of these clouds. This is about the best view we've had. So Anders and I did see it a couple days ago when we climbed a peak whose name, of course, I don't remember, but we could see it from up there in the distance, and so at least we've kind of seen it, but it looks pretty beautiful and ethereal and all that from here with the clouds, and we're walking kind of around it tomorrow, so maybe we'll see it then, although it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so who knows. Okay, so there are a few sheep on the trail. Anders and Finn just walked by, and they weren't there at all, but I guess that's part of doing business in the Dolomites, since I have to walk through these guys. They're kind of cute. Oh, this one's coming right over. Hey, buddy. Okay, this one is scary. This is like the billy goat gruff or a perkin or something. Ooh. So we have just walked 5 days through the Dolomites, up and down hills to get to this Refugio. And there's like a bus and cars, motorcycles. People are driving here, which is part of the thing we wanted about this tour, is these nice hoots and refugios to stay in. But it's kind of funny when you're like, oh my gosh, I did so much work to get here. And I could have just driven a car. Yesterday, we were at the highest point on the AB2, the Alta Via 2, and today and yesterday, after a lot of climbing, we just have been going down, 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 and I guess we're gonna be pretty low. I know we have to go back uphill today too, which is the way. We're having a great hike, and just really appreciating the diversity. It's super diverse. Yesterday we were up in this crazy rocky area, like I said, the highest point, pulling ourselves up over the rocks with cables and steps. And now we're in the trees. I guess we're on a little like Stations of the Cross section. There was a little church up there. Okay, we've just come to a hotel. Seriously, you're just like, oh, I'm walking through the woods. Boom, giant hotel. Water break on our last day. We're about 2/3 up the hill on the ascent, and then we have a long descent coming up. This is the way we're going, up that way. We have about 1/3 of the way left to get up to the pass, and then I think it's 5 miles of downhill, and it's our last day, which is kind of sad. I have mixed feelings. I could handle a 0 day, but where we're not hiking. But on the other hand, this has just been such a magical experience. This has been something I've been wanting to do for forever. It's like a dream trip. And I'm kind of wish we were going to just keep going. Maybe finish the AV2 or just spend another week out here hiking around, carrying very little, staying in beautiful refugios. They've all been different and they've all been really wonderful in their own way. But I guess we must go on. We are going back we're gonna hike out, get a taxi, because apparently the buses changed season a couple days ago, so the bus we were counting on isn't running, and then we'll take a taxi back to Bolzano, where we left our luggage in like a luggage locker, because we still have 3 months here in Italy. Some people had their bags shipped from the hotel they started at to the hotel they ended at, like just FedEx or something. Some people use a service that moves their bags each night from hut to hut. But I think in that case, you have to stay in the ones that are closer to the road. 2 we stayed in, you can only reach by helicopter or walking. So I don't know that they could have done that, but maybe. So there are a lot of different ways to do it. We ended up just keeping ours in a luggage locker. Here comes Henry down the trail. We started way up at that pass up on the right there. And it's steep. We're going down there. Thank you for joining us on our 7-day walk through the Dolomites. I hope you enjoyed it even a smidgen as much as we did, because we had such an amazing time. It was a dream trip. And I'll have all the details if you want to plan your own trip or just want more information in the blog. Or you can ask questions down below in the comment sections. So thanks again. We'd love a like and a follow and all of those things. and we'll see you again soon for more in Italy.